Thank you for ukuvuma ukuthi senzele impahla lena. Just nje usikunikeza i-background encane. Igama lami Lungani, ngwasithole. Ngikhulele eThekwini and then I moved to Cape Town. So I'm trying to do lezi zinto lezi, ama-conversations nje with abantu engicabanga ukuthi ba-interesting. And yeah, so I saw ilentuza yakhe, profile yakhe, and I know ukuthi uspana kwi-MET radio, and ngifuna nje ukuthi ngithole more about that side. So ngicela futhi ukuthi ungitshele ukuthi ubani uPrincess G and mhlambe yini ayenzayo, ukhulele kephi indawo into kanjani.
Igama lami ndingu-Afika, and on air I usually call myself Inkosazana yakwaGingqi. So that's basically how the name Princess G came from, because I felt like Inkosazana, it's gonna be hard for umuntu that isn't Zulu to pronounce. So let's just go from being Inkosazana yakwaGingqi, and uGingqi is just my clan name. My name is Afika Mkahlela. So let's just say Princess G. Yeah, but we'll keep it short and sweet. But it's a name that actually came from Umganam. A friend of mine was like, what about Princess G, instead of Inkosazana yakwaGingqi, because it will still represent the same thing. So I was like, okay, let's go with Princess G. But yeah, that's me. And just like you, I was born as well as bred in KwaZulu Natal in Durban, but I'm originally from the Eastern Cape, hence Igama Afika, I'm Xhosa.
Yeah.
But if I look at my nights, because I've been in Durban since preschool, so I grew up here in Durban, went to a all-girls high school. And right now what I'm doing is I'm currently a radio presenter, upcoming radio presenter.
Sorry, before we figure to what you're doing now, can you talk about background yakho and the reason why you moved from Eastern Cape to eThekwini?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I was born here, right? Like I was born here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Durban, because my mom wayehlala no-aunt wami la, because u-aunt wami wayesebenza la, esebenza emakhishini. So then uma uyihlala naye mane bamba ama-piece job. So then when she got pregnant, wengahlali actually no aunt wami, but wayebamba ama-piece job, so it wasn't like ukuthi wehlala naye permanently, but it was for ukuthi methole itoko ngaleso sikhathi ahlale naye. So she got pregnant again, and then she had to go back home, but ngazalelwa in Durban, then she had to go back home with me in the Eastern Cape. So I think from being 0 to around about 4 years, I lived lapha emakhaya with my mom. And then when I was 4, when I was a toddler, then she decided, okay, ufuna ukuthi ngizozama ukuthi ngifunde ngala, because she wanted to give me a brighter future. And at the time, when dad was alive, he was assisting her, and he was also like pushing ukuthi Afika angakhuleli emakhaya, yabo. So that's how we moved. And when we moved to live with my aunt. So saqala sahlala no aunt wami eBluff. And then that's how I got into a preschool, preschool yama Malti. I don't know if they call it that on that side, but here in Durban, these are call it Malti, meaning multiracial schools, yabo. So why babe funa ukuthi ngikwazi ukukhuluma isiNgisi kahle kahle ngiqale from the time inside. So it was interesting because my mom was afraid the first day when I went to the preschool I attended to, Little Angels. She was afraid because she was like, oh my goodness, how is she going to ask ukuthi toilet, because she can't speak English. She can't speak English. Oh, teacher, phela babe abelungu. So she said, uzothini Nkosi yami. But see, gradually as time went by, I learned how to speak English. So sibonga logo, that's outspoken.
Sorry, before siqhubeke, do you think it's better ukuthi ufundise umntana esamncane ukukhuluma isiNgisi than ukuthi umyekele mhlawumbe azofika high school?
I think so, and I'm saying that because of my own life and also observing other people. I think it's a lot more difficult when you're older. It's very much possible, don't get me wrong, it's very much possible, but it's a lot easier Musa ingane because now he has Musa ingane. It's like lete shu abantu badala ukuthi ufunda usemncane. It's easier to grasp izinto when you're still a kid.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier momfundisa sayingane and then lento le akhule nayo yabo. Yeah, so from there because barely I was already in Durban. I went to multiracial high schools. I went to Finland, the primary that I was at. We were still living with my aunt, and then my mom eventually she got married and she was living with my dad at Chatsworth. And then from there, I went to go live with my mom and my dad, and then I went to Governor Gold's High School. Now, I think it's important for me to mention this part because this is where it all started, yabo. At Grove Nagahiman, it was an all-girls school, you know, and I think that's when I started to realize, see, I have a voice, yabo. I have a voice, a speaking voice, like a public speaking voice, a radio voice, because I used to always do orals. Like we used to do orals. Everybody does orals, not Uguti I actually. And people would always say, because I had a very low self-esteem, I didn't really believe in myself. And also I was very confused. I didn't know Uguti after high school Ngizo Wenzani. And I remember feeling like I wasn't smart like everybody else. I would always say, Uguti, I feel like everybody's smart, but I think mina ngihlukile. I think angazi ngingayifakwa iyiphi box, kweyiphi category, but I think I'm not smart like you guys, yabo. So I didn't know this thing that I have, this talent that I have. But people would always say every time I did orals, and Nami I would see, but because I had a low self-esteem and I didn't believe in myself, I never thought Uguti ingafika to this point. But people would always say, Afiga, you have a voice, man. You have a voice. You have a voice, like you have a voice. And I'm not gonna because I'm not oral, whether I've prepared for an oral or not. Yeah, but I could literally prepare the day before for an oral. I could improvise. So but no. So people would always push. They would even say after high school, I don't know if iconic cause yeah or what, but get into anything that has to do with speaking. So uthando for khuluma laqala in high school. Laqala lapho yabo ngaqala kancane realize.
So yeah, so you mentioned ukuthi ubumuntu ongenayo self-confidence. Wenza kanjani ukuze ufike la ukhona right now? Did you maybe take ama-courses or did you read ama-books? I know khona ama-book lawa achazayo ukuthi okay, if ukuthi ufuna ukuthi ube self-confident kumele wenzeni. So did you take izinto kanjalo? How did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, to be honest, I have to thank Abantu that I was surrounded around Suskati because I had a very low self-confidence and I had a very low self-esteem as well. Like I didn't like myself at all. At all. So I had a great support system. Number one, I had a group of people, friends that really supported me and they always reassured me, Uguti, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I have what it takes. But apart from them, I did read a lot of self-help books, you know, that help you to gain confidence. But I think overall, more than anything, I think Unkulunkulu definitely played a huge role in because people can say things when people can say, you know, you look great. People can say you speak wow. People can say you're smart. But still, when you are in that place, ungangabakholwa. Still ungangabakholwa, still ungafila sengathi labantu laba angiyiboni into abayishoyo, yabo. But it is uNkulunkulu that makes you realize ukuthi you are valuable, you know, you are loved, you do have something to offer the world, you can do this. He gives you that ultimate reassurance and validation ukuthi you can do this. So I think it's having amazing people around you, and it's also, you know, having uNkulunkulu, having a relationship with God. Ukuthi, you know, you can do this. And then from there, now you take it step by step. by firstly affirming yourself, giving yourself a pep talk all the time when those negative thoughts come, speaking against them. Uti, no, I know Uti, that's not true. I know that I'm doing a lot. Pep talks really help me a lot.
Yeah, so do you uzisho out loud lezi zinto lezi mhlawumbe ukuthi makufika ukuthi yazini maybe I'm not good enough kule nto engiyenzayo, and then to say it out loud ukuthi yeah actually yazini ngi-ghost fethu ngu-Princess G Zinja.
Yes, like okay, let's actually do it so that someone who's actually watching right now can actually see. So I still get doubtful at times, believe it or not. Self-confidence, it's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey. So I still get doubtful. So what I usually do is I'll look at myself in the mirror, and I'll be like, listen here, girl. I'll be like, listen here, girl. You remember where you come from, right? You remember Afrika Wakdala Uguti, she was always in the shower and she would never even dare Uguti Akulme Pamgabantu, she would never even dare, yet alone to be on radio. But look at what you've been, look at the people you've interviewed, look at how much you've pushed yourself to do things you're afraid of. You've got this. You've got this. You're gonna do great. God is on your side. There's nothing that's going to stand in your way. You just need to believe in yourself. So that's what I usually do. I usually have a pep talk with myself.
And then does indlela obufila ngayo ishintshe same time or nokuthatha isikhathi ukuthi uyifeel ukuthi ayazini actually ngi-ghost ngiyena le nto engitshela ukuthi ngiyona?
I'll be honest, you still will feel afraid. You still will feel afraid to do leyo nto leyo, but because you make a conscious decision, because into moyitshela yona uyayikholwa, so you make a decision ngaleso sikhathi ukuthi even though usaba but ngoba uyakholwa ukuthi uzoyenza futhi uzoyenzisisa, you still go ahead and do it even though usaba, and then in the process of doing it, that's when that feeling of relief comes in, and that's when you actually start feeling like, oh, okay, no, I've got this, I'm doing it, because you're doing it even though usaba. So yabo, confidence iqhamuka lapho.
Also, support system njengoba ushilo, I think is very important, because if wena uzitshela ukuthi nginswempu ngi-ghost kodwa abantu aba-around you bengakutsheli yona, bengakunikezi leyo assurance leyo, kuba nzima ukuthi usuke from ukuba ne-low self-esteem to umuntu ozaziyo ukuthi hayi kusenginja mfethu. Because ungayitshela wena ukuthi hayi ngintswempu kodwa abantu aba-around you if bengakutsheli, I think kuba nzima. Uthini wakho umbono ngalapho?
I think that is very true. I don't want to lie. I think that's very true. See, let me tell you something else. Remember, I did say Guti Abang and Bami at the time, they helped me with the low self-esteem I had. But when I started journey, because ngang volunteer, volunteer, and I was a graduate. So no abazali ukuthi moso graduateile balindele ukuthi uzoyosebenza and uzosebenza umsebenzi ozokholela imali. Yabo leyo nto leyo ukuthi you pursuing something okuyipassion yakho engeke ikukhokhele abayizwa kahle, yabo. Yeah, so abayizwa kahle, yabo. So support, I don't wanna lie, I never really had much support, but in the beginning, at least in the beginning stages, because my parents did support me, but at least in the beginning stages, babengekho supportive, because I understand ukuthi ngiyenzelani le nto le. They didn't get it.
Yeah, and I mean angiba-blame because baqhamuka from i-generation yabo, izinto ey'kanjena akuzona izinto ezijwayelekile ukuthi uzwa ereyidweni uzokwenzani ereyidweni, because bafuna ukuthi bona ube ne-future e-secure, and emqondweni wabo ukuthi izinto ezinomsebenzi esikhathini samanje ukuthi ube dokotela fethu, ube engineer, into kanjalo. So angiba-blame because yeah, kunzima, and especially if kukuthi abazali mhlampe abasuka kwi-background engekho right, yabo, because bona bayazi ukuthi sisebenze kanzima ukuthi sikubeke la ukhona njengamanje, and wena to come and tell us ukuthi okay, hey mina I think I'm gonna go into radio mfethu, leyo nto leyo into engajwayelekile and kunzima for bona.
Yeah, so back to the point that you made. So I had to, because Mina, I believed, ne, because I believed me, this thing here ngiyayithanda and izongisa kude, and I also believe ukuthi it's my purpose. Yabo. I believe ukuthi it's my purpose. I believe ukuthi it's a gift from God and user to change people's lives. So because I believed in my dream, I believed in my aspirations, I had to do it even if people don't understand it, because that's the thing. Sometimes people won't support you, ngoba I understand the vision yakho, but you still have to doing, yabo. Bazo understand along, bazo understand along the way. But when ngoba you know ukuthi lento le kumele uyenze, don't allow leyo nto ukuthi ikususe la uNkulunkulu akubeke khona, yabo. So that's what I would say to umuntu ongenayo support, ukuthi ungabadineli labo bantu. They don't understand your vision, but along the line, when they see things happening, they're going to respect you even more, because wena uye waqhubeka wahamba abantu bengakusupport, yabo.
Yeah, no, I think ngivumelana nawe lapho ngoba I'm not saying support system ayibalekile, kodwa kumele wena as umuntu also uzazi ukuthi ufunani, because abantu ngekwazi ukuthi uphendele kwabantu ukuthi uzowenza izinto ofuna ukuzenza. Umuntu engakutshela ukuthi hayi into yenzayo umhlangano, into yenzayo ngeziphumelele, and yena akabona mhlawumbe uthole njengomzali wakho, umzali wakho obese hayi ukuthi ukutshela leyo nto just ukuthi ezokuphusha down, ukutshela leyo nto ngoba kwi-reality yakhe akaboni kuyinto ejwayelekile ukuthi yenzakale, and emehlweni akhe akayiboni izophumelela. So wena if uzothatha amazwi amzali wakho bese uwafaka enhliziyweni ukuthi hayi umama mfethu ungitshela ukuthi angiyeke indaba yokurate ngoba ukuthi kanjani, then kuzokwenza ukuthi nawe ugcine udika ibala. Into kumele uyenze ukuthi uwathathe amazwi wakho umzali wakho, bese kodwa uzama ukuthi uyibuke from perspective yakho, uma mfethu usebenze kanzima kanjani suke Eastern Cape uhlala eThekwini ngifake ey'koleni ezibizayo mfethu, ma-multiracial schools, emehlweni akhe lento kanje akuyona into ejwayelekile. And yeah, ngiyavumelana nawe lapho, kumele ukuthi kusuke ngaphakathi kuwena ukuthi okay, lento engizoyenza into mhlawumbe engajwayelekile, and ngidinga ukuthi ngikholelwe kumina ukuthi lento lengiyenzayo izophumelela before sizofike kwabanye abantu. If nje siqhubekela phambili, you mentioned ukuthi wa-graduate. Ngicela ukubuza ukuthi wawenza yiphi course, or did you study i-radio vele?
No, I didn't. I actually studied human resources management, which is Amayamantu in other institutions, Bati, industrial psychology. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's similar. So it's mainly about managing people in the workplace, training and developing. Isn't there? So that's what I studied.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I studied. Yeah.
Sorry.
Bengfunda eMangosuthu University of Technology, and that's also where that's actually the campus radio station I'm working at. I'm working at the very institution I studied at. So yeah, uNkulunkulu has a way of planning out into like, yeah.
When go to graduate, did you go into corporate, or did you just go back to radio and kwenzakale kanjani?
It was actually a funny story because I was trying to apply to get an internship or to get any job, because unemployment, apply like no my. So they saying apply my call center. So then I call center. No, actually my friend applied for me. My friend was helping me. So this friend gave one season apply, and then I got a response and they asked me to come for an interview. And mind you, it was during the same time when I had sent a demo la eMangosuthu for ukuthi ngikwazi ukuba abantu abazoconsideration for i-training nge-radio, because the training nge-radio was happening at the same time that I had to go for the interview. le call center. So what happened was I decided it's okay. I'm gonna go to the interview call center. I'm gonna go, yabo, because it was a 2-day training and cards doesn't fun. So I was like, I'm gonna try my best ukuthi ngenze go-2. Sengamane ngifike late kwi-training ye-radio but ngizokwenza lokho. So I went to interview a call center, and then from there I went to training year-radio, day 1 training, because it was a 2-day training. So now a call center, I went to the interview. They were impressed with me, and they said, go day 2, which day 2 was the training. Siyabuya into day 2 training. Ngoba it's during the training la ubona khona ukuthi uzokwazi ukumelana nalento le or not. So that's the day. That was the day, like as the deciding day for me. Am I going to choose radio or am I going to choose call center? Because those trainings were happening on the very same day, and on that day, I had to choose one. So we call center. I took a taxi using a call center because I was like, okay, I figure you are conflicted. Ngala, I'm prioritizing. I'm thinking, I figure I'll choose the radio because I'm volunteer. What am I going to do? So I was very stressed. I was under a lot of stress. I didn't know what to do. And but then midway,